Welcome back to Leeds Lately. Before we get into this one, if you could just hit that button down below, that would massively help me out. And also check out the links in the description, of course, to my Etsy page, where you'll find Leeds United wall art. There has been a few new ones added to there, and there'll be more coming as well, so make sure you check that out. But Leeds have just drawn 2-2 with Bournemouth, the Cherries, at Elland Road. And we've clutched a draw from the jaws of victory. Because we were so close to winning that game, and we really kind of deserved to as well. We would have been up on 10 points. We'd have been in a really good position going into that Spurs game. If we'd have had a draw against Fulham as well, maybe this one wouldn't have stung so much as well. Look, going into this game, I would have taken a draw. But the fact that we drew in the way that we did, being a goal ahead until the 90th minute, is just absolutely gutting, and for it to be from that set piece coming in as well is really, really frustrating. 2 set pieces we conceded, and it's really disappointing. But let's take some positives. Against Bournemouth, who are now up to 3rd in the table with that draw, who were fantastic last season. In the seasons that Andone Iraola has been there, they've finished 12th and they finished 9th. And they are now a well-established Premier League side with a very good identity and a way of playing football. Some very good players, danger men like Semenyo, and Leeds really and genuinely held our own against them and looked like it was a mid-table Premier League clash, mid to upper table Premier League clash. So in terms of the performance that I saw from Leeds, I'm very happy with what I saw. I think Leeds were, for the most part, good defensively, good going forward, good in the midfield. I thought Sean Longstaff was a bit of a standout in this game for us, not perhaps similar levels to the way that he played against Newcastle, which gives me hope, because I did feel like there was a potential that performance could have just been because he was raising his game against his boyhood club. But I do think that Leeds and Sean Longstaff performed well in this game. I really do. And I think that the fact that we came out with a draw doesn't necessarily demonstrate how well we played in the game. I can see literally somebody commenting on the live stream here, we should have had all 3 points. And I do think we should have done. So let's talk about it. First of all, Bournemouth scored first, like we conceded first against Wolves. We need to stop conceding the first goal in games, because you give yourself a mountain to climb and at least 2 goals to score to win a game of football. So that's why it becomes an issue. But their goal came from a free kick from the edge of the box. Aronson led down underneath the wall, and the ball just went under everyone and went under the goalkeeper as well. I think there was a bit of bad positioning of the wall from the goalkeeper, bit of bad positioning of Aronson behind the wall. Then you had the 3 Bournemouth players who were stood in front of the wall, who all kind of dispersed last second to let Semenyo have his shot, and it went under everyone. All round, a bit of disastrous defending from Leeds. Good strike from Semenyo, but we shouldn't be letting a goal like that happen to us. Then, of course, Leeds get the equaliser, which is a Joe Rodon header. Look, the fact that we can score from corners is really, really positive. Sean Longstaff, when he starts, seems to be the one that now is going over and gravitating towards taking those set pieces. The ball whipped in from the corner straight onto Joe Rodon's head. Would have been straight at the goalkeeper, but Semenyo just gets a tiny little touch on it off the top of his head, and it just takes it away from Petrovic. Goes in for 1-1, and Joe Rodon had, let me tell you, multiple chances throughout that game in the box from corners and set pieces where he potentially could have scored another one. So we're 1-1. Then you've got the Sean Longstaff goal. It was like a couple of shots came in. Okafor was blocked. Aronson was blocked. It bounced up for Longstaff. He just kind of got a bit of slice on it, hit the post, rolled around the back of the inside of the net and rolled out again. I couldn't believe that it had gone in at first. I didn't know that it had. I was like, I thought it had gone wide and hit, like the metal poles that keep the net tight and hold it up. I thought it hit that and then rolled around the back, but when I realised it went in and then watched the replay, what a strike that was from Longstaff. So then Leeds are 2-1 up all the way till right at the end when a ball is clipped forward and Krupi just gets in behind the Leeds defence and curls it around the goalkeeper. It's really, really disappointing to concede that late. But like I said, those are the goals. Those are the negatives in terms of the bit I've mentioned before. But the positives are that Dominic Calvert-Lewin, again, had chances. Early on, he had a really good chance. He had one where Sean Longstaff shot, and it would have been going wide, but it went into his path, and he poked it towards goal. That was unlucky. And I think he had a decent game so overall. I think perhaps we should have seen Mecha a little bit earlier in the game, though. Aronson, also good game, I thought, but as it kind of got to the end, he kind of tailed off a little bit, and he seemed to get a little bit more tired. And I think we could have probably brought on Dan James before that, instead of eventually bringing on Tanaka, because then when we did concede against Bournemouth, we're then looking at our team and going, we don't really have any quick way of going forward and getting a goal now, as someone like Dan James has got that pace to run in behind and really try and cause issues for the opposition. So, yeah, Darlow in goal. Let's go through the players, how their performances were. Darlow in goal, decent, could have done better on one of the chances, that the goal, but overall I think he had a very good, solid performance. Bogle, fantastic again, he always is. Tackling, winning the ball back, carrying it forward, really good. Rodon and Strauch seem to be very solid at the back for the most part. Of course, they did concede 2 goals. Goodmanson, again, really good coming forward. Ampadu, couple of misplaced passes by Ampadu, but overall a decent, solid performance. Stack, again, was very good. Longstaff, though, was the standout for me in midfield. I thought he was really good. And then you had Aronson, which we've already mentioned his performance, and DCL, which we've already mentioned his performance. But we haven't mentioned Okafor, who I thought, again, he's the type of player he drifts in and out of games because he's not always this world beater, but at times he goes past like 3 or 4 players and you're thinking, oh my God, if you could do that all the time, you'd be amazing, which is why he's ended up at Leeds and not somebody who's playing in Champions League football, for example. But what we'll say is that Okafor did present some opportunities, he did create some stuff, and I thought he was overall pretty good in the game. So for me, it's a good performance to take lots of positives from against a side who are now 3rd in the table, but we could have won that game, and we probably should have done. And I don't think that somebody like Spurs will kind of afford us that same privilege to kind of throw away a lead like that. So I think that coming into this next game, we need to be really, really careful about the way that we defend set pieces, especially against Spurs. With Thomas Frank, we know how much he likes to score via set pieces in general as a manager. And so, yeah, I think it's going to be important for Leeds to try and stay solid in that game. Thanks for watching Leeds Lately. I am not going to be live for that game, though, so I will be back after the international break in terms of live content, but I will do a match reaction and I'll also do match previews and any other content and stuff that comes out in the meantime. So thank you very, very much for watching. It's a shame about the result, but in terms of the performance, I thought it was good. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.